Example 2. Find the volume and surface area of the following cylinder. We notice that the cylinder has a height of 8 centimeters and a diameter of 12 centimeters. So I'm going to start off by finding volume. Volume is the amount of space a shape takes up. So if this is my cylinder, volume is how much is inside. It is how much I can fit inside of this can. That's going to be the volume of the cylinder. And my formula for volume is that volume is equal to pi r squared h. So that means pi r squared gives us the area of a circle, but I'm multiplying it by the height of the shape. So you could imagine like this circle is stacked on top of itself, whatever the height is, that many times. My radius in this example, I'm given actually the diameter, which is 12. My radius is half of the diameter. So that means my radius is half of 12, which is 6 centimeters. Diameter is all the way across. Radius is halfway, or to the center. My height is 8. So I'm going to replace the radius and the height in my formula. Pi, radius is 6, squared times the height, which is 8. I'm going to solve this according to BEDMAS. So BEDMAS tells me brackets. Well, these brackets aren't really, there's nothing to calculate inside them. Exponents. So 6 squared is what I'm doing next. That means I'm only squaring the 6 because that's where the exponent is. It's above the 6, not the pi. So the pi is going to stay in front. Pi, 6 times 6 is 36, times 8. And I can put these in the calculator all at once. Whether you use the pi button or 3.14, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. So I'm going to use the pi button. In my calculator, it's right here, so I have to press shift and then the button here. So pi times 36 times 8 gives me 904.77. I'm going to round to 1 decimal. So because the number beside the 7 is bigger than 5, I'm going to round this first 7 to an 8. So I'm going to say 904.8. Centimeters cubed. Volume, there's a 3 here because I am multiplying 3 dimensions. So the radius, height, those are the 3 dimensions that I'm multiplying. All right. Next, I'm going to find surface area. The formula that we use for surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. What that means is this first 2 pi r h refers to the fact that remember surface area is the outside of a shape. So I have a circle here. So to calculate the area on the outside, I can calculate the area of this circle and the area of that circle. That's where this part comes from. And then this part is the fact that if I were to take this side curved surface and unfold it, I get a rectangle looking shape. It's not even a rectangle looking, it is a rectangle. So this rectangle has a side length. This side length was actually the circumference of my circle. It became the side length of my rectangle. And the height of my shape is actually the width of this rectangle. So that's where this comes from. 2 pi r is this side right here, and h is this side right here. Okay, that's just a bit of a background to understand where the formula is coming from so that you're not just blindly following. That's where the formula comes from. So for surface area, I'm calculating the outside of the shape. I don't care how much is inside. I care about how much is on the outside of the shape. How much paper would it take to cover it? Okay, so let's substitute our known values. 2 pi, r was 6 centimeters, so 6, and h was 8. plus 2 pi r is 6 centimeters squared. Again, remember to use proper bed mass. So I'm going to do the exponents first. 6 times 6 is 36. Everything else, I mean, you can do this in one step if you'd like. I'm just doing it separately just to show you. So I have 2 times pi times 6 times 8 plus 2 times pi times 36. Okay, so these numbers are being multiplied, which means I need to multiply these values. This time I'll use 3.14. And as I said above, it really doesn't matter whether you use, if I had used 3.14 above times 36 times 8, I would have gotten a very similar number. Your number shouldn't be off more than a couple decimal points. If it's off more than a couple decimal points, it's the process. It's not the fact that you use 3.14. So I'm going to say 2 times 3.14 times 6 times 8 gives me 301.44 plus 2 times 3.14 times 36 gives me 226.8. I'm going to add these values together, and I get 527.52, which is my surface area, measured in centimeters squared. And it's squared because this was actually just measuring flat surfaces, flat two-dimensional surfaces, and I added them together at the end. So because they were all flat two-dimensional, it's centimeters squared. Volume is measured in centimeters cubed.